What's up, YouTube? It's time to learn how to play Starfield's mysterious board game, known as the symbol game in-game. This is kind of what the setup looks like, as you can see on a table here, where you're going to have a few different types of pieces sitting on a board that has a few matching symbols. But as everyone's been asking how to play this game, I figured we'd run through it. First thing is we've got a nice top-down view of the board where you can see that there is 4 sets of 4 matching symbols, and your objective is to get all 4 of your pieces onto a space that has the same symbol. So that could be 1 piece on all 4 diamonds. On your turn, you can add one of your pieces to the board because none of the pieces actually start on the board, or move one of your pieces that is already on the board. So if your opponent's about to place something where you want to be, you can move into that space or bump something, which we will get up to in a minute. There is a few different types of pieces. The first one is the assaulter. So the assaulter can move 1 space in any direction, but it can move an additional space forwards or backwards. That's along the longest length of the board. And as you can see, I've got a little diagram here. We can see kind of what it would look like, how it would move. Next up is the defender. The defender can also move 1 space in any direction, but it gets an additional space to either side. This is like a lying down version of the assaulter, but it can move along the shortest edge of the board. Next is the Snow Lord. Now the Snow Lord is the white player's special piece, and you'll only have 1 of them, but the Snow Lord can move 3 spaces in any combination of directions. As you can see from the diagram, it's going to move to the right, and then up, and then diagonally into the opponent's piece to bump them. But we'll get to bumping in a minute. And then we've got the Shadow Queen. Now the Shadow Queen is the black player's special piece, and there's only 1 of them. The Shadow Queen moves any number of spaces diagonally, and is the only piece that can move through their own pieces. Everything else would bump into something, except the Shadow Queen will ignore her own pieces. And then we've got bumping. To prevent your opponent from claiming victory, you bump their pieces by moving into the space occupied by that piece with yours. That piece is then bumped spaces in that direction equal to how far you traveled to collide with it. For example, here in the diagram, the black piece, which is the Shadow Queen, is bumping into the white piece and then moving it 2 spaces. But because there isn't a second space to occupy, it's going to wrap. This is the wrap. Pieces when bumped will wrap around the board onto the matching space in that direction, but only once. If a piece would wrap a second time, it comes to a stop right at the edge of the board. And pieces can only wrap when bumped by opponent's pieces. And the reason why the Snow Lord is interesting is that you can move in a funky direction or pattern to control exactly how far you're going to bump a piece, because you can bump your pieces as well as your opponent's pieces. And remember, the goal is to try and line everything up so that you have all 4 of your pieces on the matching symbols on the board.